one of the things that I thought about is, look, there is a cottage industry out there online, on YouTube, on Twitter, where people have decided to set up shop trying to sell you for their living what Brock Purdy is not. And obviously there's some people who've had success with this, and God bless, go with God. I don't even want to relitigate this on a weekly basis.
We won't. We don't need to.
We're not gonna. But there is a cottage industry trying to explain to you what Brock Purdy isn't. Now, there's also a cottage industry of people blowing smoke up your rear end, trying to pretend some things are there. And you and I are not those people. We are not going to sell you greatness when it's not in front of us. And last night was not a great game out of Brock Purdy. It was good. It was efficient. But what we saw
was really good in the second half.
As always, the star of the show for Kyle Shanahan is the system, is the game plan. And the game plan, although it sputtered at time, when it was done, it was pretty much executed perfectly, considering they faced a blitz rate that you don't even face playing your drunk buddy on a Saturday night in a game of Madden.
Exactly.
It was a all-out assault of go get him no matter what, and Purdy survived that. What I also want to bring up, and I thought of this last night, again, we're really good post-game. You give us, Larry, a night to sleep on something, that's when we get dangerous, and it's great to have everybody here for 49ers Wake Up. When I was a kid, the 49ers as a franchise defined what it was to have a franchise quarterback. I was born in 1975. I am, 8, 9, 10 years old in the dawn of the great Montana era that then becomes the Steve Young era. And as someone who grew up a Bears fan, I couldn't help but be wildly jealous of this concept of, you mean you're allowed 2 great quarterbacks in your lifetime? I haven't even seen one yet as a Bears fan. I was like, but we got Walter Payton. That's fun. And it was fun. He was great. But
sweetness.
He was special, Larry. But here's the deal. And this is the point. I sort of went off kilter there for a minute. The franchise that defined the concept of franchise quarterback, with 2 Hall of Fame greatest to ever do it franchise quarterbacks, have never ever put 30 points in a row up in 6 consecutive games.
Wow, that's amazing.
But this kid has in this system with this coach. And for those who have wanted to illuminate what isn't around the 49ers, here's what is. More production than the greatest memory your daddy has. I mean, that's the truth. It's the honest to God's truth in a league that is officially harder to be successful in than back in the day. Well, I don't know. There's an argument to be made there, but just everyone's got a ridiculous amount of talent. Everyone's got a good coach. Everyone's got a coordinator who's an inch away from becoming a head coach themselves. There's talent dripping in this league. The difference between the best team in football and the worst team in football is this. Where in Major League Baseball, it's this. In the NBA, it's this. In hockey, it's this. There is so little difference between the haves and the have-nots in this league. So to sustain anything for like a half a year, an 8-10 game run is really amazing. It really is. And what the 49ers have produced since Brock Purdy started being under center for Kyle Shanahan is nothing short of the most productive, successful scoring offense the franchise who gave you Jerry Rice, who gave you Joe Montana, who gave you Steve Young, who gave you Jonathan Taylor and Roger Craig in a list of the all-timers. They never did that. These guys are doing that.
Well, okay. In fairness to the old school guys, the several rules have changed through the years to make the league more offensive. We have to at least mention that. We have to mention that.
I reeled it in. Did you feel me there? As soon as I said it, I reeled it in.
Well, I mean, I'm picturing Steve Young watching this screaming, going, Damon! No, but you're right. I mean, you're right. The league has changed, though, and it is more an offensive league. But I think this morning I'm just here to push back on. I know there'll be people out there who'll be like, Brock Purdy was bad last night and they won anyway. No, he was not bad. That's an idiot take. The truth is that Brock Purdy did an incredible job of protecting the football against a defense that blitzed at a historically high rate, which they had to prepare for on what, 1 day of prep, 2 days of prep. I mean, they only had 1 day of practice, and they didn't have any practice. It was just a walkthrough. They had a series of a couple walkthroughs, some meetings, and other than that, they rested up and got ready for Martindale, who's a veteran defensive coordinator, who was desperate and brought the house in every direction possible. And I'll credit Martindale, man. I don't know that he had two blitzes that were alike. I mean, if you go, I mean, I went and watched I got the NFL Plus, so I came home last night and, got home at 1 a.m. and watched the condensed version or whatever, or got home around midnight, watched it till 1 a.m. You can get every play of the game, and I'm sitting there pre-snap pausing this thing going, oh my God, this guy's bringing a different blitz. Then I'm writing what that blitz is down. Then all of a sudden it's go to the next play. Oh my God, this guy's bringing a different angle on the blitz. And they must have brought 10 to 12 different looks. I mean, it was probably more like 15 or 20, but I mean, I counted 10 or 12 through the first 3 quarters, and it was an amazing thing. So the Brock Purdy played bad. No, Brock Purdy didn't turn the football over against a dizzying array of different blitzes on a short week with very little time to prepare. In what is in one of his early starts of his career. I mean, I was very, very impressed. And when you go and compare that to what we've seen at quarterback, I mean, here's one on the chat from Akshay. Says Purdy is light years ahead of Jimmy when it comes to processing and poise. Couldn't agree more. How about this one from the Smitty? Purdy already reads the defense well. Get him better ready blitzes, and he'll take the practice. I mean, there's no question that it wasn't a masterpiece, and he definitely had some throws that could have been picked, but they weren't picked. And it's like you can sit there, the coulda, woulda, shoulda. At the end of the day, you put up 30 and won again. So I feel great about the situation they're in right now. I mean, they did this all. We didn't even mention this yet. They did this all without the great Brandon Ayuk, and Deebo Samuel, CMC, George Kittle, Juwan Jennings, Ronnie Bell. They all played pretty damn well. It was an amazing. If you really think about it, it was an impressive win when you consider all the factors from last night.